Welcome to Crazed Performance Repair. This is a video recap from a live stream I did. The live stream's extremely long. I don't expect everybody to want to watch a video that long, so I did this to recap on everything that was done. It was a successful displacement on demand delete, and we will go ahead and get started here. If you like this video, be sure to hit that like button. It will help me with the YouTube algorithm to get this one rolling. Let's get started on this live stream. It is a little bit grainy though, so I'm going to pre-warn you on that. Okay, so we have several of these full of oil and some of them empty. Now this vehicle has sat overnight, so this is going to kind of give me a little idea. I'm going to also, since it is the number 7 cylinder and it's in the rear, I'm going to inspect the camshaft. And once I release this lifter, I have a new little trick to kind of add to things to try and make sure that it takes on the first try. Now previously I've just been saying it might take more than one try to get it to actually stay, but I think I have a way to make it stay on the first try. Really refine this until this system is perfected, and eventually we'll get it to be even more foolproof of success. Okay, so I'm sliding the tool in there right now. I'm just trying to get rid of all the oil that's in it. Alright, so to get the oil out, now I'm going to explain why in a minute, but to get the oil out, we're going to use a little brake clean down the hole, which dries out the lube surface area. I understand that, but I'm more concerned about being able to get that lifter free. I just saw the sensor, so that tells me that I have the oil cleaned out of that hole there for sure now. Okay, what I'm going to do is I'm going to look down that hole, and then I'm going to use this to turn the... Just set it down. There it is. Is to make sure that where this tool lands on the lifter is not going to land in a spot that's just offset of the little oil hole in there, because if I land on that little oil hole offset, I may damage the lifter. And that was brought to my attention on the last one that I did, that I damaged it. But of course I was whacking that one way too hard, so that was because I was testing that brass lifter, if you guys have been seeing my channel or previous videos. So just keep that in mind. That's what I'm doing now. I'm just going to double check that. I'm going to clean this thing out. It's dripping oil all over me. I might not be able to see it. I might just have to give it a shot. Well, it was worth a try. Life lesson here, invest in a better endoscope, I guess. Alright, so I'm making sure the tool is in the low position. That way it's lined up correctly with the lifter. Yep, sure is. Okay, now I have the push rod in there as an indicator to when the thing releases. I'm going to use my brass hammer, so I'm a little more gentle on it at least. Light tap, a little heavier, a little heavier. Whoa, this one is not letting go. Something is odd here. Oh, it went up a little bit. There it goes. So there, we just saw the release. Did not require much of a hit. Now I got to go fetch a push rod. Now I have to clean this push rod before I can show you the little thing I'm going to attempt to try and make it so it happens on the first try. Okay, so my theory here, you know, you got the paws. They're not in this one because this is my one to show you guys. But this part is locking up on the inside of the shelf on here. Now if you notice, it's locking up before it even hits the bottom where the spring is, so that'd be the center location of the lifter. So when that thing is in there, it's in the center of the lifter. So my theory here is right now the lifter is likely like this, okay? Well, there's one of the paws. There's no spring in there. It's likely like this. Now there's a shelf on this side too, so right now these paws are probably collapsed. And that's when people are having a problem with it not taking on the first try, as if these paws don't spread out fast enough to lock it in place before it goes up to the second shelf area. Then it's causing an issue. So what I'm hoping is, if in that position, I'm going to take and I'm going to slowly tap and let this thing go down, down, down until it comes to the bottom. And I'm hoping that I'm going to hear a little click. And if I hear a click, then I know those paws have popped out. If I don't hear a click, all of a sudden it just stops going down. I'm going to assume it's in the same situation. So that's what I'm going to try, and then I'm going to go ahead, throw the rocker arm back on, turn the motor over, and see if the rocker properly activates. Okay, let's go ahead and give this thing a try. I'm going to use the brass hammer again because it's less likely to cause any damage. Wipe off any of the brass beat off of there with the other tool, because the brass does start to come off, which is not very good. And I always clean out those lifter tools every time, just in case. I'm down a little bit. There, now it stopped. Yeah, it stopped. So I pushed it down with my finger to make sure it was on the cam. And then when I hit it, I felt it go just a little bit. And then I hit it again, and it total dead stop. Sounded like I hit a rock. So I assume that that is now in the locked position, and I'm good to go. So I'm going to go ahead, throw the rocker back on there, and we're going to give it a shot by turning the wrench on the crank. Okay, the lifter definitely is holding something, at least. Now I'm not torquing it, but I'm also not tightening it fully because I want to make sure it works first. I went down until it bottomed out, and the valve did go down a little bit, so I believe we are good to go. So I'm going to go ahead and turn this over. Now that was the exhaust, so now the intake should open. Yep, there it goes. Look at that. We are freed up. So, I have another one coming in here soon. And when that one comes in, I'm going to try the same thing, and hopefully it works again. And then hopefully when I fire this thing up, it doesn't collapse again right away. So I'm going to try and eliminate another possibility of that by modifying the VLOM, by plugging the hole that is feeding the lifters, and then, you know, basically doing what I did on my last live stream. I'm going to go ahead and do that to this one, and hopefully that'll eliminate any possible problems. Alright, so we have you here in the back room, and we are going to take the sensor out first. I don't want to go grab a proper tool. I'm just going to see if I have a... not quite. I guess I have to go get the tool for it. Alright, so this is actually a special socket just for oil pressure senders. It's like a 6-point socket, only it's got these cut-off corners. Kind of a goofy thing. See, I still have all my VLOM pieces laying here from the last one. There's the oil pressure sensor, covered in oil. I better get a rag. Something to push that sensor out with. I'm going to turn this heater off. Hoping you guys aren't getting a bunch of wind noise. Okay, so I just used something to push this guy out. Now, we're going to inspect this thing because if you have low oil pressure, this is a very common reason for the low oil pressure. It gets plugged up, and this guy's motor was quite dirty, so I imagine it's going to be dirty. It's starting to plug up, but it's not total. So you can see that plugged up section there. It's definitely not looking... focus. There we go. It's definitely not looking the best. And that end is completely plugged. So, this guy's oil pressure light that was probably going to start happening soon is no longer going to be an issue. In fact, you can see the O-ring here. So this is the only spot that would have plugged. This is the spot that goes back into the oil pressure sensor. So this thing might have had oil pressure concerns. I don't know. I'll have to ask them later. So we need to plug this guy up. And I happen to have, from the last one, a leftover to plug it with. Laying here somewhere. Here's the pre-modification of the sleeve. Of the sleeve that I put in there. Aha! And here is post-modification. Now, this one I have to deburr yet. I did not deburr it, and I have it at an angle, but I'll just make sure I put the taller end towards the oil pressure hole. Technically you would want to cut this a little bit straighter, but I was cutting it live and fast and in a hurry, which I shouldn't have been in a hurry, and now I'm going to slow it down, you know. But anyway, now what I need to do is slide this guy in there with the tall side facing that oil feed, because I made it stupid like I did. If you want the measurements for this, see my previous video on building it. Not quite down far enough. This one is not fitting in there as easy as I'd hoped. I should have probably measured it, I guess. Oh, there it goes. There is no question that's going to seal. That is a tight fit. Alright. Now, just in case there's some kind of little metal shaving in there, I'm going to go ahead and clean this out as best I can. Alright, that thing is ready to put back in place. And the gasket is a little squished, but it's still got some life left in it, so we're gonna let her ride for now and put this vehicle back together. The belt is in place, everything looks good, so I'm gonna go ahead and give it a shot. Let's hope that that lifter does not collapse. Sounds pretty dang quiet to me, but I have had them collapse a little after I started moving them, like pulling them out of the shop. So I'm going to go ahead and give the throttle a little bit of a hit. Yeah, it's pretty darn quiet. Let's go ahead and give the throttle a little whack. I got to open the garage door first. The oil pressure is close to 50 on this thing right now. So we have a successful hammer trick glom done live. Can't really beat that. I'm going to go ahead and log you guys off in a minute here because I have to inflate the tires. You see how the tire is flat? I do that so it's easier to work on. So a little trick for you guys for staying and watching until the end here. This tire is just completely flat right now. So I'm going to inflate both front tires. Then I'm going to go on a test drive. This guy should be good to go. Everything should be hunky-dory. I'm going to have to do some transmission fluid in this thing and get the flush going too. I got to call him and ask him if I can do that because this motor was pretty filthy. This one went pretty well, went pretty smooth aside from me losing track of my damn socket. I still got to find that socket. Hopefully I'll find it here as I'm cleaning everything up. I got to do some cleaning anyway, so.
Thanks for watching this video. I hope you learned something from it. If you are new to my channel, be sure to check out all my videos. And if you like what you see, hit the subscribe button. And I'm hoping to kind of do this on some of my live streams from here on out, maybe the more critical or useful ones. This video in particular is being linked to a shop pushing video that I put up recently where I'm giving the customer or the person who is not very mechanically inclined the ability to share this with their shop that is normally unwilling to do this job in hopes to help sway them into being willing to do the job, because I am a shop located in Minnesota. There are shops or people all over the US that are asking me where they can get it done, what shop they can get it done at, and I have no clue because I am a shop. I don't go to shops. I don't get my car fixed at shops because I just do it myself. So with that, I hope this helps you. I hope if you're a shop, you found this very useful video, and I'm out. Thanks for watching.